Listen up or run for cover. Dropping knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. The real Robin Bradley Bombs is dropping.
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I've got a real treat for you. Someone that you've probably heard of, but if you haven't, I'm about to introduce him. Cory Barrier. What's cracking?
What's happening, brother?
Dude, Cory Barrier is a certified sales success and nutrition coach, master personal trainer, NLP practitioner, so be careful, and the host of the Successful Life podcast. He didn't always start out that way, though, did you?
No, sir.
No, dude. He began his career as a personal trainer in 2009 and then basically became one of the top personal trainers and then ultimately sold your hormone clinic or your spa.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I want to talk about that because I'm trying desperately to stay young.
Well, that's the way to do it.
Get up on that mic
Hormone
like it's a wiener.
Replacement. God.
See, now when I said that, you drew near it. See, now if it was a wiener, why would you move towards it?
Well, I guess I just took your cue, Brad.
Hey. Okay, so basically in 2018, you watched The Secret.
Yep.
Why in 18? Is that when it came out?
Hell no, it came out a long time ago, but
You hadn't seen it till then?
I had not. No.
Damn.
No.
Folks, if you guys haven't watched The Secret, I'd definitely go watch it. But that's what spurred you to say, dude, enough's enough. I got way more potential in me. I can help more people, and I can draw the life and design the life I want. So you quit. You sold your spa,
Yep.
and you ultimately joined the KBB with old Dean and Tony.
Yeah, that's right.
And what'd that do?
It just taught me a little bit more about selling, which that's really what I love to do is sell, just like you. I love to sell.
Why?
Because I'm good. I'm really good.
Are you?
Yeah.
What's your best rebuttal to I'm just looking?
I'm just looking. Well, it depends on the situation, really, I guess.
What's your number one rule to a salesperson?
Well, it all depends on what you're selling. You've got to be careful. You got to read your audience, right? You got to read whoever you're talking to. And I think that's the most important thing when it comes to sales. If you can't read the person that you're talking to and dealing with, you're probably not going to be able to sell that person.
How do you read someone over the phone?
Well, tonality is a big one.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you just read their voice.
Yes.
And it is possible.
Mm-hmm,
But
sure.
it's much more advantageous selling somebody in person.
Absolutely.
You can see body language.
Yes, 100%. So in now, I guess you can still read body language if you're doing via Zoom, which is what we're currently having to do now, depending on what industry you're in, or I suppose your industry could be at a stop. But people are going to have to move to, I think, to video selling, which is what Yonder Digital is.
Yeah, so basically you got excited. You started Yonder Digital with your buddy Chris.
Yes.
And now you're blowing up Yonder Digital. We'll talk about that.
Sure.
And you're out there helping basically business owners, entrepreneurs, how to sell without feeling like a salesperson.
That's right.
And ultimately teaching them how to be happy. What is happy?
Well, that's a good question, really. Happiness is what everybody wants. It's a great example
Do you find it?
You don't find it. I don't think you find it.
What do?
I think
you create it?
I think you create it. I think a lot of people looking for happiness, and really that's when you ask about selling, you're selling happiness at the end of the day, right? Because that's what everybody wants. They want to be happy.
Yeah, but most people say they're looking for happiness, which would indicate that you find it.
Or do they find it?
No, not in my opinion.
I agree.
My opinion is you choose happiness.
That's right.
I could be in a one-bedroom apartment, happier than a dog in motherfucking bone land. You can.
Well, no, I agree.
It's a choice.
It is a choice. Everything's a choice. Everything comes down to a choice.
Yeah.
Whether you want to be happy or, a lot of people say, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? When I'm talking about my wife, do you want to be right or happy? And sometimes you got to make that decision. I don't always make the right decision, Brad.
Yeah, nobody does.
No.
So anyway, you got a Successful Life podcast. Folks, you should go check that out. See if you like what old Carrie. I was about to rhyme, but see what old Cory's laying down.
That's right.
How long you been doing it?
So I started the podcast in November, and the reason I started it is that I went to the Arte Syndicate live meeting, and
Arte Syndicate.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
It is, isn't it?
There's two kinds. There's the kind of like you're just
well, they've condensed it.
Yeah,
it's all one.
There's one that's the big ticket.
Well, not now.
Not now. They got away with the big ticket.
They got away with the big. Yeah, did away with it.
Well, I'd recommend anybody join Arte Syndicate. Yeah. My boy Ed Milet and Andy Frisella started that.
That's right.
And I'll tell you right now, dude, those are two dudes to listen to.
Yes, they are.
And that drew in a lot of good people. I like the expensive ticket group only because you knew anyone that had that kind of coin was at least fairly successful already.
Absolutely. 100%. And now, so now it's interesting because it's all grouped into one. Everybody pays the same amount every month. And they're doing they're going to do live events, and that is where the money you'll have to pay, right? I don't know, there'll be a limit on how many people they're going to have at these events, and it's first come, first serve if you're a member. And so, for example, of course, they haven't had any of the events yet, but the way they explained it to the group is they're going to have these, let's just say it's sales. Let's just take sales. They're going to take the top salespeople, let's just say the top 10 salespeople in the whole world, and that's the people that are going to be at these events. And
well, if I'm not there, then they're fucking lying to you.
Well, you're probably headlining it.
Doesn't matter. If you're talking about salespeople, top 10 in the world,
yeah,
I'd be there.
You think?
For sure.
For sure.
For sure, dude. Guaranteed, 100%. I am probably the best on earth.
That's what I hear.
It's factual.
Is it?
I close the dudes that teach you to close. I sell the people that are teaching sales. See what I'm saying?
I do.
Of course, if you want to be honest, the biggest laydowns are the best salespeople.
And also the best people. You mean the best people to sell to are sales? Absolutely, they are.
Yeah,
of course.
Like I'm a laydown.
Yeah,
because I'm a good salesperson. So like I factor in all that shit. But it's funny when people come out and try to use. I can tell they're new, little green, and they're using like old cliche rebuttals and suggestions and takeaway closes and all that shit. It's pretty funny.
It is funny.
So what do you teach people to be a salesperson without feeling like a salesperson? Now I could tear that apart and rip your ass a new one by saying, well, what do you mean by that? But we all know what you mean. Salespeople have bad stereotypes in most cases, especially car salesmen, used car salesmen.
Of course.
Slimy, sleazy salesmen, a lot of people think.
Well, you know why that is.
Why?
Because because it's about the money for these guys, the slimy, sleazy salespeople. It's about the money. And if you're really there to help somebody else, right, to help your customer and to serve them, then you're going to become more successful.
That's right. He's earned a bomb, folks.
There we go.
See, you've been wanting one of those.
I have been.
The problem is I determine when there's a bomb. So don't ever say drop a bomb like a lot of guests say that.
Why is that?
I don't know, because they want them.
And they don't listen to the podcast, obviously.
Must not.
Or they wouldn't say it.
They wouldn't say it because they know it's useless. It's futile.
Yeah.
I'm the decider.
That's
I'm
right.
like Bush.
Right.
I'm the decider. But that was a bomb. And folks, if you guys are new to the podcast, that just simply means you better listen up because what he just said was a fact. I teach people, right? I throw some sales knowledge people's way. And first thing I say is if you want to sell something, don't sell it. Build a relationship first and you'll end up selling that and a whole bunch of other shit to their friends, family, and everybody else. You build the relationship. You're not there to sell anybody. You're there to help them. And you have to get to know them to determine how to best help them. And so if you're approaching it in a way where I'm just, introducing myself and building a relationship, there's not that commission desperation a lot of salespeople have.
That's right. And you could smell the desperation from a mile away.
Yeah, they want to make commission. That's what they're there for. Most people are saying, hey, I want to sell you so I can make some money. And I keep telling people, quit doing that. And that's exactly what you were just saying. And you were exactly correct. Continue. You've earned the right to continue, Cory.
So, I don't know exactly where we were going, but actually, you mentioned salespeople being the biggest laydowns. I think that's hilarious, and it's true, 100% true. What I find is that if you're a genuine person, we talked about this a few minutes ago. If you're authentic, right, and you truly are there to help other people, then people can feel that, right? They can see it, they can feel it. It goes back to the body language, the tonality, and that's important.
Sure is.
Yeah.
But what about if you're an introvert?
Ooh, you're gonna have a tough time in sales.
Yeah?
That's for sure.
I don't think so.
No? Why
No.
is it? Tell me why. Why do you say that?
Because the number one trait of a salesperson, in my opinion, is empathy.
Okay, that's fair.
They can put themselves in your shoes, feel what you're feeling, and a lot of times the best listeners are the best salespeople. And when you're introverted, you listen more than you talk.
Well, that's important, because if you do listen more than you talk, you're gonna. That's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? Is to listen, not to talk.
Well, it could be to eat.
Could be that too.
But yeah, that's the saying.
Well, when it comes to sales, anyway.
Yeah. You definitely listen. I would say 50-50. If you don't talk at all, it's not going to work.
No.
But you don't talk as much as most salespeople think you talk. A lot of salespeople, they think their job is to sell you this, and they don't ask any questions. They don't build a relationship. They don't figure out what your pain points, what your challenges are. They just make assumptions. Man, if you drink this water, you're going to feel great. Maybe they already feel great.
That's true.
And I'm sitting here talking about how great you're going to feel, and you think, well, I don't really need it. I feel great already.
Right.
So the value of the product stays below the value of your money. Because to make an exchange, dude, you have to raise the value of your product or service above the value of their money. Well,
product and service, so that's good points. So I think that when people sell products and they sell on features, right, and they talk about, the bottled water and the features it has and all that good stuff, I don't believe that's what people really want. You know what I mean? You don't go to a car lot and then tell you all about the car. Do you really listen to all the features they're telling you about the car, or do you buy it for whatever reason you're going to buy it for? I buy it because I like the car, right? I like the way the car looks, or I like the way whatever, right? I don't really care that it's got 13 spare tires, whatever.
Yeah. So how do you teach people how to sell without being a salesperson? That's where we were going.
Well, simply by paying attention and, like you said, building that relationship and reading the body language of the person, and not being that desperate, needy car salesman, I guess, is the best way to. It's hard for me to explain. Covertly, right? You have to have a covert conversation, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. What about your NLP practitioner?
Yes. What about it? It's
neuro-linguistic programming.
Mm-hmm.
So do you believe in that?
I absolutely believe in that.
So give us a few lessons. Give the bomb squad a few lessons that they can implement.
Well, so, let's see here.
Did I put you on the spot?
You did, because I'm not so rusty on my NLP stuff.
Well, how come it doesn't work?
Well, it's not that it doesn't work. I think that I do a lot of the stuff automatically, and that's
So like the word now, like if you want someone to buy now, you would say, now I'm going to show you exactly why you would like to have this. You would like to have this now because of this reason.
That's right.
So you're just throwing in words to program them to do what you want them to do.
Right.
Wouldn't you say that's kind of unethical?
Well, it depends on why you're doing it.
Because some people say, oh, that's unethical.
Well, it's not unethical if you're trying, if we're talking about sales and I'm selling you my product and I believe that my product's going to help you, then it's not unethical no matter how I get it to you, because I know it's going to improve your life.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing you curveballs to see how you handle them.
I know that.
If you guys are watching on video, go to YouTube. You can see how he's handling them visually.
You can see my body language.
That's right. but all reality, NLP, do you think it works?
I do believe it works.
I've always wondered.
Yeah. I do believe it works. Again, I think your motives have a lot to do with it.
Well, I would just like to see the evidence. I like to see the data. So like, hey, here's 10 people where we just talk normal. And then here's 10 people that we used NLP. Here they said no. Here they said yes when we slid in these words. And then I would become a master practitioner. Because I'm all about taking advantage of the ability to sell, close, and persuade people. People say, well, that's unethical. And I say, no, it isn't. It's to get what I want. Right. Well, I thought you said it's for them. Exactly. And what I want is for them to get the help they need.
That's right.
I like to help people. I never used to. I used to be the salesman that was just for commission. And I'll tell you, I was good still. And there's a lot of good salespeople out there with the wrong intention, which is I want a commission. And they'll sell you and they'll make a great, income. But you can make a fortune when you start to figure out that helping other people's really kind of a key.
Yeah. Well, so when did you figure that out? For
30 years old.
Okay.
I was running a car dealership.
Okay.
30 years old. And everything before that was about getting rich. What can I get? How do I close you so I can make money? And then I had a kid in the back that was hardworking dude, minimum wage, lot porter. I said, hey, man, I saw his wife come in all the time. His kids came in with their heads down. They were kind of, wearing the I don't want to say, poor clothes, but they had clothes that were like you see at Target.
Sure.
And I just felt bad. And because the dude was totally cool, hardworking dude, ethical dude. And then we teach people that all you got to do is work hard. That's total bullshit. The hardest workers are usually the ones that don't have any money. They're working for the dudes that aren't doing any work. And the ones that are not doing any work is the ones making all the money. So I was just like, I felt bad for the guy. I'm like, man, this guy's cool. I said, hey, let me teach you how to sell. I wanted to help the dude. So I taught him how to sell. And within 3 months, he's making like 15 grand a month. From minimum wage to 15 grand a month, that's like hitting the lottery. So a couple months went by, dude. The kids came in, dressed a lot better, and you could see it in their face. You could see it in their actions. They were more happy. They were, more proud. Whatever it was, the wife would come in with a smile on her face instead of always concerned about the rent and concerned about the food and concerned about buying the kids clothes. And when I was young, my dad barely could afford to buy us clothes. Sometimes we'd have to wear the same school clothes from last year to school. And, you get bullied and shit. People make fun of you. So I just felt bad for him. So I helped him. And then when I helped him, it was like, damn, dude, it was like the best feeling. And I just thought, man, I'm going to quit my job and start a company helping people make more money. I wasn't intentional about it. That's just what I did. And that's just the reason I did it. And looking back, it's like, that's right there when I went from worrying about myself to helping other people. And that's when literally everything opened up. I couldn't break $1 million. I couldn't even break $500,000 working for myself, looking for myself. And I was good, dude. Now I probably could have if I'd have found different things to sell. I was just running a car dealership, but I was making $300, $400, $450. I could never break $500 no matter what I did. And then as soon as I started helping other people, boom, hit 7 figures, 8 figures. It's like, damn, dude, everything opened up. That's when.
And it's not just the monetary part of it either. It's the feeling that you get after helping somebody. I'll share a quick story with you, and I'm sure you know.
Where are you from, real quick?
Oh, wow.
Because you say because, and everybody that I hear say because is from like Tennessee or something.
I'm from Mayberry.
Where's Mayberry?
North Carolina.
It's really called Mayberry?
It's really like the real Mayberry. Like,
yeah, but what's it called? What's the town?
Oh, Mount Airy.
Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Yeah,
North Kakalaki.
That's right.
That's right. That's where I get the because. Okay, continue.
You
don't remember what you were saying?
I don't.
See, dude, here's what you got to do. You got to just relax. You got to just be like, fuck it, we're shooting the shit. Nobody's going to listen to this. This is just me and you shooting the shit.
Let's do that.
Okay? This is good. I've had only one guest leave and call me back and be like, dude, can we do that again? I'm like, why? It was, Cody Grand Adam.
Oh.
He's a good dude. Lives outside of Chicago in this little small town.
I don't think I do.
Anyway, it was a great episode. This is going to be a great episode.
Of course it is.
But he did the same thing. He kind of forgot what he was saying, and then we left, and he kind of said, dude, I got to do that over. I'm like, why? He goes, dude, I was forgetting where I was saying. And dude, that comes from one thing. You're trying to think of what to say while I'm talking.
I'm not listening.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a kick-ass salesperson, that's what I said. You got to listen.
That's right.
I call it active listening. You know Ed Milet. He was here, and I did a kind of exercise to show him what active listening was, and I got him. He was like, dude, that's incredible, because most people don't understand. You want me to show you?
Yeah. You
probably heard it, so you probably know the answer, but let's just show you. You got to pretend, because I don't have any coins. I'm going to write here that there's a quarter, and I'm going to write here that there's a dime, and I'm going to write here that there's a nickel. Okay? Now, pay attention. Quarter, dime, nickel. Ready? Bob's mom has 3 kids. The first one is Nicholas. The second one is Demetrius. What's the third one's name?
Quarter.
No.
I don't know.
You weren't listening. I'll say it again. Most people listen the second time. Ready?
Yeah.
Bob's mom has 3 kids. The first one is Nicholas. The second one is Demetrius. What's the third one's name?
Still didn't listen.
I'll do it again. You ready?
Yeah.
Bob's mom has 3 kids.
Fuck. Bob.
There you go. See, and that literally is what happens to people in the sales environment or an environment like this, where you're listening to respond rather than listening to understand.
Well, you know what's interesting is I'm usually, there you go.
Give myself a bomb.
I'm usually interviewing people on my podcast, and so it's interesting because I don't go on a lot of podcasts, and so it's very different on this side of the table.
Especially with me.
Of course.
Okay. Because everybody comes on the show thinking I'm going to grill them. I don't know why they do that. I don't. I'm not grilling anybody.
Right.
I will, however, disagree with people, which most podcast hosts won't.
Yeah.
But again, to me, it's like, this is number one, my podcast.
Right.
These are my listeners, the Bomb Squad. I owe it to them. You know what I'm saying? To try and figure out what's real, what's not real, so they can get value from it. And if I think someone's full of shit and I don't say nothing, that's my integrity. See what I'm saying?
I do.
But then people come on, they're like, dude, I thought you were going to roast me. It's like, dude, it does sometimes feel like roasting, but it's not. I wouldn't let you on the show if I was just here to roast you.
Right.
I got you on the show because I think you can bring value. Talking to you over the social media, the interwebs, talking to you the several times I've talked with you on the outside. You seem like a good dude, and you've learned your lesson. How old are you, though?
I am 42 years old.
See, I got underwear older than that. You're still a young man.
So I have learned my lessons. I'm glad you bring that up. You know, the last time I was here in Vegas, I was doing crystal meth. And
Damn!
Right. So 20 years ago, Brad.
Did you snort it?
I did. God, it was like fucking fire.
Well, yeah. And the drain's terrible.
I thought it was cocaine.
No, it isn't.
No, not at all.
Totally different.
Whew, yeah, it was a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah.
So I was telling my wife as we were walking down the strip.
Was she doing it too?
No.
Well, she had to know you were on it. Your teeth were grinding. You were sitting there licking your lips.
Well,
probably.
she didn't know me at that point. I was on my first wife then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm on number 3, Brad.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Third time's a charm, hopefully.
Third time is a charm, for sure. But I could have been one of these guys on that's laying here on the strip, begging for money, and it was just a decision away. And fortunately, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, I got pulled out of that. Thank God. I would like to say that was the end of it, but it wasn't.
How'd you get pulled out of it?
I'll be honest with you. I called my dad and told him I got robbed, and he bailed me out.
Well, what do you mean pulled out of what? Being broke?
Well, being here and being, in the midst of the crystal meth and all that stuff.
So he loaned you the money to get out?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a choice you made.
Well,
you didn't. No one pulled you out of it.
Well, no, you're right.
You made a decision.
I did. And then I made some other bad decisions.
Yeah, but we make bad decisions all the time. I keep trying to tell people the road you take is determined by the choices you make. You could have chose to get another line.
That's true.
You could have chose to freaking rob somebody to get money, to get another line. These are all just choices.
Sure.
You chose to, hey, I need to call someone to get some money to get the fuck out of here. Yeah, well, that's a choice. Yeah. I told a story once on a podcast where I smoked crack for 3 days. It was fucking crazy. Yeah. See, that's another thing people like, is that I just tell the truth.
Well, no, I think I actually remember you telling that story because you found something in the couch. What was it? Pieces of what?
No, like the popcorn ceiling, and literally, dude, when you smoke crack, like, dude, you want more of it, and when there's no more of it, dude, you start looking around to see if you left any of it, little shavings. So I was looking around for little rocks, and I found a little piece of fucking, turned out to be glaze from a donut, and so I smoked it, and found out real quick it wasn't crack. But anyway, at the end of the day, dude, I've done meth. I haven't really shot anything.
No, me either.
Okay, I'll smoke weed. I mean, I used to smoke weed. I still smoke weed if I felt like it. I don't think weed's that big of a deal, but I've smoked weed, mushrooms, acid, coke, meth, ecstasy. Yeah. Anything else?
No, probably not. No heroin.
Oh, hell no. Like, dude, that sounded. You know. When I was young, I hung around this kid whose mom did heroin right in front of us. And when she'd shoot it up in her arm, she would just, like, her eyes would go in the back of her head and she'd start falling forward with her head. They call it nodding. Yeah. And then she would start throwing up almost violently. And I thought to myself, who in the hell wants to do that? Well, so maybe that's what steered me away from heroin. But anything that was major, like PCP or anything major, I just was too afraid to do it. Yeah. A lot of people think, dude, you did all those. That's major. You know, maybe my perspective's weird, but, you know, meth, it ain't that major unless you continue to do it. That's true. But at the end of the day, I've done it. Cleaned the fuck out of my house. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like, dude, you want to get shit done? Freaking do a line of meth, dude. Woo! So at the end of the day, I wouldn't recommend anybody does any drugs only because it's the right choice to not do drugs. And technically, I say don't drink either. But I drink.
Do you still drink?
Fuck yeah, I'll have a drink. I won't get drunk anymore. I'm done blackout drunk.
Well, wait a minute. I thought you stopped.
No.
No?
I've never stopped.
No, I know you didn't quit.
Dude, go listen to my podcast.
No, I did.
Okay, then you already know, because the last dude that was here that was talking about pedophilia.
Yes.
He was an alcoholic. He said he quit. And I said, I got hammered the other day, and I just decided no more getting hammered. Right. So I'll still have a glass of wine, still have a couple drinks. If I ever get hammered again, then I'll know I have a problem, but I don't have a problem. And everyone was DMing me and telling me I'm full of shit. That's a problem, thinking I don't have a problem. And I'm like, fuck you. That ain't a problem. Right. Like, dude, it boils down to control.
It does. It does.
So I've told myself I'm not getting hammered anymore. Because before, dude, when I drank, it was to drink. Right. I mean, it was to get fucked up. It was to get drunk. It was, I wanted to go and get, I'm not doing that anymore. Right. So the other day I was drinking beer out at the lake. I had about the third or fourth one, and I started to feel that buzzy. So I just stopped for the day. Yeah. You know, it was just a choice. Some people can do it. Some people can't. I would recommend, if I was giving advice, don't drink at all. Why? Alcohol is poisonous for the body. That's right. If you want a pure body and a pure mind, alcohol is not a part of that at all. Meth, definitely not. Coke, definitely not. Weed, nope, none of it. Why? Because you shouldn't do it. Doesn't mean I don't, just means you shouldn't. And I give people advice based on what I believe, and I believe you shouldn't. People say, well, then why do you? Dude, we all fall short, bro.
That's right.
We all fall short. I think deep down I don't like something about myself still. Because I think the reason we do things is we don't like ourselves deep down, and we are not even aware of it. Why do we go celebrate a win by drinking alcohol?
That's a great point.
Well, it's because maybe deep down we don't deserve to win, or some deep thing from says, hey, you don't deserve to feel good, so here, drink this.
That's right.
And you make a choice. Mm-hmm. So you're doing meth. You're walking down the frickin' strip doing meth. Yeah. Then what?
Well, I called my dad to bail me out.
And what'd he say?
He said, I'm going to put money in the bank. You better be on that fucking plane, or I'm going to come out there and get you.
And then you flew where?
Wilson, North Carolina.
And then you never did meth again.
Never did it again.
See, that's my crack story.
Yeah.
I got out of that. I was down in California, dude, and I shot up to Portland, Oregon, and never touched it again. Because I knew, dude, that shit's freaking powerful shit. It is. Yeah. And, dude, you do not end up well a meth head.
No.
You don't end up well a coke head. No. You don't end up well abusing any drug.
No, that's right.
At all. But I had to get out of the environment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, dude, I probably would have been fine for a couple of weeks, and then someone would have just said, "Hey," and next thing you know, I'm a crackhead. Can you imagine me, a toothless crackhead? It wouldn't fit.
No. If it did, you would be a toothless crackhead.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And do you know the difference between me and them? A choice.
That's right.
A choice.
You ever done ayahuasca?
No.
That's where I'm going.
I know.
After I leave here.
I know, but that's self enlightenment.
Yeah.
That's intentional drug use for self enlightenment. And by the way, I did a lot of acid.
Did you?
I believe my acid use expanded my mind.
Consciousness.
Yeah.
It does. Most people that are super successful do some form of psychedelic.
Dude, I had a bunch of doctors ask me if I wanted to accompany them to Spain to lick a frog and supposedly trip out. There's frogs you can lick, and it's like ayahuasca times 10. And I'm like, nah. I'm expanded as I want to be.
Yeah.
The last time I took acid, I was not necessarily successful yet, but I was doing okay. But when I took that acid, I realized, dude, you're a fucking loser, dude. You can call it a bad trip. I called it self-realization. Like, dude, you better get somewhere in life. Like, you're not doing very well. And I got off that acid, man, and I went to work. And I said, holy shit. So I think it does expand your mind. When you already did ayahuasca once, tell us about it.
So
Where'd you go?
this is a place in Florida called Soul Quest Ayahuasca Church. It's one of the few that in the country that I know of. I don't think there 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah, most people go out of the country.
They do. Most people don't even know about this place.
Well, it's illegal, isn't it?
No, not technically.
Do you know also you can go to doctors that'll give you ketamine?
Yeah, they're doing that for depression.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything other than they are doing studies and doing.
It's legal with a doctor, I guess.
That's interesting. You imagine going to the pharmacy and saying, "Hey, I need my prescription for ketamine."
So you went to no. It's while you're in the office. They put you
Right.
under the ketamine and they talk to you, and I guess you figure out your depression and it helps.
Does it? I mean,
That's
do you know people that have done it?
Yeah, the guy, Mike Dillard from the Mike Dillard podcast.
I don't
He's
know.
got a big podcast.
No, I don't know who he is.
Yeah, I just had him on the other day, and he was telling me, absolutely, dude. He had a situation where toxic mold was in his house. It caused something. He said he was sitting there playing a game, and then he felt this like a pop in his head. Then he couldn't sleep. He explained it. Went to all the doctors. No one knew what was wrong with him. Then he ran into somebody that said, "Hey, that happened to me. It was toxic mold." He had his house checked. It was toxic mold. And then, good thing because you can eventually die from all this and all that. And then he got big time depressed. And then boom, went to a psychotherapist that was putting him on ketamine, and got deep into hallucinogens and figured out his depression. And now he's fucking pumped and ready to roll. He said it worked.
Well, there's a lot. Tim Ferriss talks about this a lot, right? He's a part of some group. I don't know the name of it. That he supports. Basically psychedelic therapy through, I guess, MDMA and LSD and I guess mushrooms. I feel like there's one more. It's like a mescaline type something. I don't really know what the fourth one is. But anyway.
DMT.
Well, DMT is another one, yeah. So DMT, I think, DMT is what ayahuasca... we all have DMT in our bodies, right? And so if I'm not mistaken, it's located in the pineal gland. And so that's what the ayahuasca evidently reaches and pulls that DMT out or ignites it or does something to it. What's interesting, though, when I went and did my first ceremony,
They call it a ceremony?
They do. So there's 3 different ceremonies. So it was one Friday night, and then there's another one Saturday morning, and another one Saturday night. And you got to go with an open mind, right? You can't go in holding on to a bunch of stuff. And so I know this because I did that. And really what happened was the Friday night I fell asleep, which was super strange if you ask me.
You fell asleep on it?
Fell asleep on it. And they said the medicine works in your body no matter what, right? Whether you're asleep or awake. I don't know if that's factual. I'm just telling you what they told me. And so Saturday morning, we did the second ceremony, and they blew this stuff in my nose called rapé or hepe. You can, it looks like rape with a whatever the thing above the E is. I can't remember what the name of it is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And so they blew that stuff in my nose, and when that happened, I just, it made me purge everywhere, and it was
Purge
horrible.
means throw up.
Oh my God, I threw up so much, and it was horrible. And so that night, I didn't want to do that again. I didn't want to throw up that hard again because
Throw up so hard your nuts hurt.
oh yeah, it felt like everything in my body was just coming out. And what I've learned from that is that that's all the toxins and shit you've got inside your stomach coming out. And so I held on and tried not to throw up that night, which blocked me from getting the message from the ayahuasca that I needed, which is why I'm going back. So this time I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to leave it all on the table, so to speak.
Mm.
Yeah.
When you going?
Friday.
You going to call me when you're done?
Yeah.
Tell me if you got a message.
Yeah. Well, the message, and it's interesting that you say that. So
If you didn't throw up, I might do it, but I don't want to throw up.
Oh, it was a lot of throwing up. It's funny because everybody has a bucket. Literally, everybody has a bucket, so you can carry around with you because you throw up so much. It doesn't sound pretty, does it?
No. Where was the hallucinogen?
Well, I didn't have any of that. That's what was interesting about it.
You didn't trip out at all?
No.
You didn't laugh?
Nope. None of it.
You watched Billions?
I have seen part of it, yeah.
Yeah, well, Bobby Axelrod and Wags just got back from doing an ayahuasca on that show.
Oh,
and he's a billionaire.
New one?
He'd do it once a year, huh?
They say that, yeah. Is it the new Billions, the new season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the new one.
So you didn't trip?
No, I didn't
Well,
trip.
then what are we talking about? I wanted to hear the trip.
Well, I'll have to let you know what happens.
So the first time you think it was kind of you just got sick a lot.
I don't really know. I think that I was blocking it with, if I'm being totally transparent, the fear of having to throw up like that again was just, I convinced myself I'm not going to throw up like that again. So I didn't do the rapé again, right? Which is what caused me to throw up so hard the first time. And so this time I'm going to go with an open mind. I'm probably just going to go ahead and do the rapé, knowing that it's going to make me purge. But that's the whole, I shouldn't say the goal, but the goal is to get all that stuff out of you, right? And so, I don't know how much you know about the week before, but there's a diet you have to follow. You can't eat any garlic or onions or no heavy red meat, nothing really fatty. So, and what that does, you're not supposed to have sex for the whole week before and the whole week after.
Why?
Well, think about the boxer, right? You've interviewed I don't know if you talked about it or not, but boxers, they're abstinent for a period of time before they fight because it expels so much energy from your body when you get off.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're supposed to save all that energy for the medicine, I guess. I'm not a fucking professional, I'll be honest with you.
Well, then you're going to have to come back and talk about it again once you've had the full trip. My buddy Chris Cavallini, you know him?
No.
He went and did one.
He did?
Yeah.
Where?
He said he didn't throw up the first night, but he tripped the hell out.
Yeah.
And then laughed like you wouldn't believe. He said he laughed and laughed and laughed. And then the next night he did throw up, and he wasn't laughing. And he recommends everybody does it.
It's supposed to be, it's supposed to be a whole different level of consciousness. I mean, the guy off London Real, Brian
Rose.
Yeah. So that's really where I learned about it. Is I watched his documentary called. Have you seen his documentary about this?
No.
Probably not. Whatever. I can't remember the name of it. But if you look up Brian Rose ayahuasca, it'll come up. Reconnect, that's the name of it. And so I watched him and watched his experience, and it was just, there was something
Did he document it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go watch that.
It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
Did you see him on it?
No.
Have you ever smoked salvia?
No. What is that?
You don't want to do that.
What is that?
Just some shit people can smoke. Don't smoke it.
Never even heard of it.
Oh, it's weird.
Tell me.
Dude, just for the bomb squads, benefit, folks. I'm not advising that people go try this. Now, ayahuasca, I know a lot of successful people that do it, and they do recommend it. But, it would be for like medically supervised, like you can hurt yourself trying this without like shamans and practitioners.
Yeah, so there's a full medical staff at this place. There's a doctor, psychiatrist, shaman. I mean, and it's I don't know if ritual is the right word, but it feels like a ritual. I mean, there's certain things that they go through, and they cleanse you, and with all this sage and smoky shit, and they do all.
Probably because you're going to another dimension.
You're supposed to be, but I didn't go to that dimension. But I'm going to this time. I have a feeling.
Well, I can't wait to talk about it. Now, What about Yonder Digital? What's Yonder Digital do for people?
So Yonder Digital teaches people how to sell via video, right? So you've got, the days of knocking on doors and the days of picking up the phone are becoming very limited. As you know, with COVID, I mean, you can't do any of that stuff unless you're the guy, what's his name, that does he does the pest control. You had him on here.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember.
So he's cleaning up. But anyway, so we're teaching people how to sell via video. And I'll just give you a quick example, and I won't name the customer, but we're working with one of the Lexus dealerships, right? And their salespeople can record, hey, Brad, thanks for coming in. Thanks for, checking out the ES 300. We'd love to have you back, or thank you for buying the car, or come in for maintenance, or whatever. And it's just more personable through video. And that's exactly what we do.
Teach people how to sell through video.
Yeah.
Utilizing video.
Yeah.
Any tools that you recommend? Like BombBomb?
No. So that's just it. We have somebody that edits the video for us, right? So if you're the salesperson, there's a green room in the dealership. You go to the green room, you shoot your video, and then you you email the file over to our editor, and she puts it through Premiere and puts, she'll have the pop-ups, whether it's Lexus or whatever the name, whatever the company you're trying to.
She dresses it up.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you send it out.
That
sounds like it takes a while.
Well, it depends. It does depend. So we're still working on the speed portion. It's in its infancy, Brad.
I gotcha. So if somebody wanted to try that out, where would they go? Yonderdigital.com?
You got it.
And why Yonder? Yonder?
Well, Chris came up with that name because in North Carolina, people say over yonder. And so that's why he named it Yonder Digital.
Because it's over there?
Yeah.
I thought it might be something like, man, if you want to get Yonder Digital.
Yeah.
Because people want to get yonder. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Because it's always over yonder.
Over yonder, that's right.
That's right. So tell me what excites you most right now about life.
I guess probably Yonder Digital right now, because it's so new and it's so, Brad, this is going to be the way people are going to sell in the future. And I do believe that wholeheartedly.
Through Yonder Digital.
That's right. And we're starting this, and nobody else is really doing this the way we're doing it. And what I mean by that is,
most people are quicker.
That's right. Most people are quicker, and it's just the videos are nowhere near as professionally done as how we do them.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, we're super early in the business, so the efficiency part we're working on.
Processes.
Yeah, because if you got to depend on Premiere, for example, which is what we use. If it takes an hour to render a video, that's kind of out of our control.
Yeah.
Right. And so we got to figure out a way to speed that up.
Well, it's better than not sending out professional video.
That's right.
In some cases. Some cases it's easier just to open up your iPhone, make a video, and send it.
Yeah, but people are not really even doing that.
I know. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Even follow up with a video.
People don't do it.
Hey, just, I know, but some people do, because I get text and, there's a video and I always want to watch it.
Yeah.
Right. But text is the new way of doing things, period.
Sure.
So text and a video is even better, I think.
I agree.
Because, dude, have you ever missed a phone call?
All the time.
Have you ever missed a text?
Very rarely.
I've never missed a text.
No.
I've never missed one. Think about it.
Right.
Like, I look at my phone, it says I've got 6 texts. I fucking open every one of them.
Of course.
But phone calls, I could have missed 16 phone calls. I don't call them all back.
I have a call filter on my phone.
For what?
Because I don't want to answer the phone.
Why?
Well, I have a good phone number, and so it
you have a good phone number?
It all ends in nines, all of it. So it's 99.99, and I get random phone calls from random people that I don't know. For example, I have some asshole calling me about his dumpster, and he just keeps leaving messages after messages.
Why don't you just answer the phone? Tell him it's the wrong number.
Well, it's time consuming. I don't have time for that.
It sounds like it's more time consuming to deal with all the messages.
I just delete it, and the call filters out a lot of these people.
Right.
And also, Brad,
how'd you get 99.99?
I just know people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out there in North Carolina.
That's right.
Is that where they dole out phone numbers?
I don't know. I just knew a guy at Verizon probably 10 years ago, and that's how I got it.
Well, let me ask you this: if you could have the bomb squad do anything, what would you have them do?
I would say right now, I would love for them to go and check out the podcast. We, of course, you can find you on the podcast.
Yes, you will.
That's right.
I did a podcast with you, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Over Zoom.
Yep.
Did I have any audio issues?
No. Zero.
You know why?
Why?
Because I don't believe in them.
Well, there you go.
That's right.
If you don't believe in it, it doesn't happen, right? Or if you do believe, it will happen.
Folks, listen. I want you to try Yonder Digital, even though he didn't necessarily, convince you that it's the fastest thing on earth. But I'll bet you it does work, because you're getting customers left and right. Who's doing all the selling for that?
Chris and I.
Both of you?
Yes.
Who started it? Because I thought Chris said it, but he didn't mention you. Did you join him, or did you both co-found the thing?
I did join.
So he sold you.
He sold me.
See what I'm saying? If you're an entrepreneur and you out there, this is why it's important to learn to sell. Because, dude, I sold my partner, Jason, on building Lightspeed for me. If he wouldn't have built Lightspeed, dude, I wouldn't be here. I sold him. I closed him. Where can people follow you?
Just at CoryBerrier. And you can find my podcast link and all that stuff there.
Yeah, go to at Cory Barrier, folks, if you freaking know what's good for you. Not only that, he's always dropping nuggets. He's trying to help people by dropping little knowledge nuggets. You can learn a lot just by following him, yeah?
That's right.
And then how long are you staying in Vegas?
We leave out tomorrow. Yeah.
All right.
Leave out tomorrow.
Well, when you do your ayahuasca, dude, I need you to come back.
Yeah.
Because I want a whole episode on that, step by step.
It's going to be good. In fact, you know what? We're going to document a lot of this. And what I mean by that, we're not going to document the actual ceremony because they won't let us. But we're documenting the before. We're documenting after, like how my mindset is before, how it is after, because it's very different. So when I came out of this last one, it's really hard to explain, because you're just in this kind of a weird cloud. And I don't mean like you don't know what's going on. You're just, I don't know. It's very strange. It's almost like you find little things about yourself that you don't know. And I'll tell you the really one last quick example. When I was doing the second ceremony, I was looking around, I was watching all these people flail around and puke and laugh and do all this crazy shit. And I'm looking and I'm like, why am I not doing that? And then I realized I compare myself to everybody. And I never thought of myself as the person that did that until that experience. So that's that, and so it was an eye-opener for me.
Dude, it sounds like you're going to get a bunch from the next one.
Damn right.
And what is your end goal by doing it?
Just a deeper understanding of myself, really.
Well, that's the journey.
That's right.
If you freaking master yourself, Everything else is just a game.
Yeah.
Life is just a game, folks.
That's right.
What are the rules? Who's playing and what are the rules? That's all you got to figure out. Corey, I appreciate you coming out here, buddy.
Thank you, Brad.
I'm going to have you back on the next one as soon as your ayahuasca trip's done and you're back out in Vegas.
Sounds like a plan, brother.
Bomb Squad, go check this dude out. Follow him at Cory Barrier. If you want frickin' to learn how to sell through video, go to yonderdigital.com. Share this out, and until next time, keep it real.